Let's talk about two words you've probably heard a million times: honor and service. Now, they might sound a little old-fashioned, maybe something you'd read in a history book. But what if they're actually the key to a really meaningful life and even a society that works? That's what we're going to dig into today, what these ideas really mean, right here, right now.
But before we get started, let's just pause on this question for a second. Because really, whether we think about it or not, every single one of us answers this question every single day. Is my life all about me, or is it about we? The answer we choose? Well, that sets the stage for everything else.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with that big foundational choice. Then we're going to get crystal clear on what honor actually is. After that, we'll see how service is honor in action, explore why this stuff matters for everyone, and then wrap up with how you can make it real in your own life. Okay, first up, the foundational choice. The whole idea here is that a life of character, a life of honor, it doesn't just happen by accident. You don't just stumble into it. It all starts with a very real, very conscious decision.
And that, right there, is the key. This isn't some one-and-done decision you make and then forget about. No, think of it like planting a seed. That single choice is the starting point that determines the entire direction of your character. It's the root system for every single act of honor and service that comes later.
So if that choice is the seed, what does the tree look like? Well, that brings us to honor. We tend to mix up honor with stuff we can see. Medals, titles, a good public image. But the real deal, it's something else entirely. It's your internal compass.
If you boil it all down, here's the definition: a quiet, steady commitment to truth. And those two words, quiet and steady, they are everything. See, real honor isn't loud. It's not trying to get attention. It doesn't need an audience. It's just there, a constant, especially when things get hard.
Yeah, this slide just lays it out perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the performance of honor. The shiny medals, the fancy titles, what other people think of you. But on the right, that's true honor. It's that quiet commitment. It's keeping your word. And maybe most important of all, it's about what you do when you are absolutely sure nobody is watching. So in everyday life, what does that look like? Well, a person with honor is anchored. You can count on them. They are faithful to their duty, they're faithful to their family, and they are faithful to their word. That's the bedrock, right? It's what holds firm when the pressure is on. And this idea leads us perfectly into our third section, service. Because if honor is that internal compass, then service is actually using that compass to navigate the world. It's where that principle you hold inside becomes something you actually do. It's honor in action. This is such a powerful idea, and it totally flips our modern definition of greatness upside down. It suggests that real influence, real strength, doesn't come from having people serve you. It comes from serving others. In this view, service isn't a weakness at all. It's the ultimate sign of strength.
At the end of the day, this is what service is all about. It's just a fundamental shift in perspective. It's moving from me to we. It's that moment you realize your purpose is connected to something way bigger than just your own wants and needs.
And look, service doesn't have to be some grand, heroic gesture. Most of the time, it's found in these small, consistent, everyday actions. It's lending a hand when you know you're not going to get thanked. It's standing up for someone who can't stand up for themselves. It's mentoring someone younger, or just, being the person who shows up when you say you will. Okay, so we've talked about the individual. But why does any of this matter on a bigger scale? Well, that brings us to section 4. The idea here is simple. Personal character doesn't just stay personal. It builds or breaks the society we all live in.
And this right here is such a critical point. We all say we love freedom, right? But freedom can't survive all by itself. It has to be paired with personal responsibility, with honor. Without that internal sense of duty to one another, liberty just turns into chaos.
See, when people choose to live with honor and a spirit of service, they naturally become something more. They become the builders of trust that hold a community together. They act as stewards, taking care of the things we all share. And ultimately, they become the true guardians of liberty, protecting it not just with laws, but with their character. All right, this brings us to the final, and maybe the most important part, your call to action. We've talked about the what and the why, so now let's get into the how. Here are 3 super simple ways you can start today. And look, before you can do anything, you've got to be honest with yourself. So ask yourself these 2 questions, really. Am I the same person when no one's looking? And when I help others, am I doing it willingly, with a good heart? The answers to those questions, that's where it all begins.
Okay, so once you've done that reflection, it's time to act. It's actually pretty simple. Number 1, keep your word. Even in the little things, just be someone people can rely on. Number 2, serve without needing a pat on the back. Find those quiet ways to help. And number 3, and this might be the biggest one, teach by example. Let your actions do the talking. That's the most powerful lesson you can ever give.
So let's end with this thought. Living with honor, serving with courage. It's not just about making yourself a better person. It's about taking care of the very idea of a free society. Every time you make that choice, you're helping to keep that torch of liberty burning bright for the next generation.